Don't leave me now, because this is the guest that you've all been waiting for. How to describe our next guest? 16 Grammy nominations. Controversial at the start of her career after being dethroned for posing nude for a men's magazine from Miss America.
That's true.
And by the way, Wilhelmina Slater, anyone? Welcome to the show, Vanessa Williams on the line. So I wanted to ask you, when we first booked this time with you, I thought my first question is going to be, what took you so long? And then I read the liner notes about your production schedule and all the moving around and stuff. And I guess I wonder, are you a control freak during this time, or are you a let it be type of person?
You gotta let it be, because a lot of things are out of your control, especially when you're dealing with a production schedule of a cast of thousands. The production has you off, and then you have to go into work because of someone's scene change or illness. You just got to go with the flow, or you'd kill yourself in this business.
Were you always like that?
I think so. I think that's what keeps you sane, especially between having a multifaceted career and also raising 4 kids. There's certain things that are your priority, and then you have to surrender to it and allow things to work where they can and go away when they can't, and that's the reality.
I always think that's a good lesson for anyone listening, because you look at someone, especially when we get to talk to someone, as you say, with such a multifaceted career plus a larger family, we all run around trying to get things done at the end of the day, and I think the best thing we can do for ourselves is realize at the end of the day, things are never going to be done.
Exactly. You got to surrender.
I love, just speaking quickly on the liner notes, the moment you talked about recording Hello Like Before, and then Bill Withers walked into the studio.
I know.
Was that planned? Did you have any idea?
No, I didn't know until that day, and I didn't think it was going to be quite as emotional as it was. But I did Hello Like Before, and Bill Withers was just such a the soundtrack of my life growing up in the 70s. It reminded me of listening to him on the 8-track player while we were going in the Econoline Ford van to visit my grandmother 8 hours away in Buffalo, or camping in the Poconos and, listening to Ain't No Sunshine or Grandma's Hand. So he just reminds me a lot of my father and has the same kind of relaxed attitude. So when I saw him, I said, oh, my God, I have to call my mom. And I just said, Mom, don't
and that's what I wrote down here. I mean, isn't it funny, no matter how old we get or how high we climb, when something like that happens, the first person we got to do call Mama.
So that was a really special moment.
Kenny Edmonds is a producer, Babyface, on this album, and you talk about how he made magic happen while you were out at 2 gay weddings over a weekend. How very 2009 of you.
Oh, yeah. It was the last weekend before, in October, before that it was legal, and I went to 2 weddings and went and recorded in between. So Kenny was very accommodating of my schedule. But, again, I work with friends that knew me. I'd worked with before. Kenny had done 2 songs on the Sweetest Days album, and also worked with his former wife when they were doing their movie production. So, when I did Soul Food and Light It Up, they were both producers on those movies. So I've worked with Kenny in various genres. So it was great to be back in the studio with him.
On the gay wedding topic, I read the Out interview that you did, and I loved that you just simply said, who cares, when they asked you about the whole Carrie Prejean drama.
Yeah, and also in terms of our lives right now, we're so much more informed and educated as people, as a person, let alone an entertainer, who have dealt with so many different types of people and personalities and approaches in my life. I have so many friends that have been together longer than my 2 marriages combined, that are raising wonderful kids and that are great partners. And, now is the time to recognize that love is love and commitment is commitment, no matter what form it comes in.
So what did you feel when Prop 8 was upheld last week?
I'm glad that I'm not living in California right now, because I'm sure it's very frustrating. But I think it's a matter of time.
More with Vanessa Williams and her new album, The Real Thing, in just moments. Shaun Proulx.
103.9 Proud FM and the Shaun Proulx Show, welcoming you back to our conversation with our very special guest today, Vanessa Williams, celebrating her new album, The Real Thing. Been talking about her music, but one thing I'd like to talk to you a bit about, Vanessa, is your position and the work that you've done in and around human rights and equality. One thing that people know for sure about you is that you've been committed to equal rights, and in 2008 you were awarded the Human Rights Campaign Ally for Equity Award. You say that you didn't just decide to fight for equality. You were raised and have been surrounded with lots of gay people, and as you just said, who live quote-unquote normal lives and have long-lasting relationships.
Right.
And isn't that just one of the keys that we need to find to unlock the doors, is to start recognizing that this is everywhere, and that even if you're the most prejudiced person in the world, there's a strong chance your own brother or sister or cousin or maybe even your dad is one of these people that you're hating so much these days.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And that's a matter of being exposed and being educated. I was lucky to have parents that were completely open and proactive and aware and welcoming. Being a dancer, being a singer, being on Broadway, it's part of my life, but it's also part of who I am as a person. It's going to be slow, but, I remember when I was first asked about ERA back when I was 20 years old, and I was for equal rights for women who are not paid the same and should be able to get the same rights that men do, and that was bold back in 1983. So it's taken a while, but, now we've got the first female CEO of a Fortune 500 company. It's taken a long time, but, it'll get there.
I like your optimism a lot. And are you optimistic with your TV show, Ugly Betty's, moving to Fridays now, which in the industry can often mean something? Do you take it that way?
I know that our fan base and a lot of people DVR it, and tape it.
True.
So hopefully they will continue. I know we're a worldwide success, and I hope that continues. I hope that our fans follow us to Friday nights at 9.
Well, in this past season, it's just been, I can think of a couple episodes where they ended, and I thought, my God, the production values of this 1 hour that I just watched, the cast, the everything, it's just like so top notch.
Exactly. It's a joy to be on. It's a joy to be in New York, to have the creative team and also work with the city. We've got the talent of all these Broadway actors that are available, and we've got Pat Fields, who's making everyone come alive in their costumes head to toe. Our
God love Pat Fields.
Yeah, she's fantastic. It's a lot more authentic, but it's a pleasure, and I hope we last for a long time.
I hope you put out more albums like The Real Thing. It's just terrific, and it's on the shelves now, and I wonder what's the best thing about having returned to the recording studio for you after a bit of an absence.
It's great to be able to perform. Recording it is great, but I got a chance to do a new show in Tropicana and Atlantic City a couple of weeks ago, and we did a lot of the new material, and to see the audience react and absorb it and to play new music was a joy. So I look forward to singing more of the new music.
Will you tour some more?
Yeah. We go back to work, the second week in July, so I'll be doing some one-off dates here and there, but absolutely.
Thank you so much for your time today, Vanessa.
Thanks so much.
Looking for